أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today we're going to read some truths from the Supreme Sign, Ayatul Kubra. In the first copy of this Ramadan treatise, we talked about the wisdom of Ramadan, how it helps us see God's mercy and compassion. Now, just as God shows His mercy to us, we have a duty to actually see it. He is showing His compassion, but how do we perceive it? How should we think about it? We're going to read 3 or 4 sections related to this, God willing. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, the Supreme Sign. This book describes the observations of a traveler who asks the universe about its creator. That's what the Supreme Sign is, the journey of a traveler moving through different worlds in the universe, observing the evidence for God's existence and unity. There are 19 levels in the first chapter. We're going to focus on the 19th level of that first chapter, and then we'll move on to the second chapter, insha'Allah. Here's the text. Then this curious and eager traveler who came into the world, searched for the world's creator, climbed through 18 levels of reality, and reached the throne of truth, advanced from knowing God from a distance to a station where he speaks to him directly. He said to his own soul. Let's unpack that. It compares this journey to the Fatiha, the opening chapter of the Quran. In the Fatiha, you start by praising God in the third person, talking about Him, until you reach the word Iyaka, you alone. At that point, you feel His presence and switch to addressing Him directly, you. So the traveler says, just like in the Fatiha, we need to stop searching for God as if He's far away. We need to ask the one we are looking for about the one we are looking for. To see the sun, you don't look at the stones or the ground. You ask the sun itself. You look at its light. Let's look at the beginning of that sentence again. Then, coming into the world. Yes, God sends people into this world, one after another. So this traveler comes, looks around and asks, who created this world? He climbs through 18 levels, traveling through 18 different worlds or realms, growing spiritually with every truth he witnesses until he reaches the peak of faith. He moves from Gaibane to Hazirane. What does that mean? Gaibane is when you talk about someone who isn't in the room. He did this, he did that. But Hazirane is when they are right there in front of you and you say, you did this. We start by looking for God everywhere. And when we realize He is present and watching everything, we move to that level of presence. We say, oh Allah, you are doing this. So this curious traveler says to himself, we need to stop searching from a distance. If you want to know the sun, look at the sun's rays. In the same way, if we want to know our Creator, we should look at His beautiful names and His holy attributes as much as our capacity allows. Now, we can't know God fully. We can only know Him to the extent that our own mirror, our capacity, can reflect Him. The text says we are going to explain just 2 paths out of countless paths and 2 levels out of countless levels. The first truth. When we open our eyes and look at the universe, what is the first thing we see? We see activity, an overwhelming, all-encompassing activity. There is no place where this activity stops. It is muhit. It surrounds everything. From the stars and planets down to the atoms, the air, the water, everywhere you look, there is action. It is daimi, it's constant. It never pauses. It is muntazam. It's not random chaos, it's organized. It follows laws and patterns. It is dehshatli. It's awesome, massive, and fast. This activity spins the galaxies and the earth. It changes the seasons, refreshes the face of the earth, and renews everything continuously. Now, inside this massive activity, if you look closer, you see the truth of the Rububiyya, Lordship. This activity isn't just movement, it's nurturing, it's raising things, it's wisdom. It shows that there is a Lord, a sustainer at work, and inside that nurturing Lordship, you see mercy. The sun's activity brings us warmth and life. The clouds bring rain. The spring brings food. It's all a manifestation of mercy. And finally, inside that mercy and Lordship, you see divinity, Uluhiyya. This incredible organized activity clearly shows the existence of God and His holy attributes. Think about it logically. If you see wise, dominant, constant activity, there must be an agent, a doer behind it. You can't have a deed without a doer. And this doer must have power, kudret, and knowledge, ilm. You can feel the existence of this powerful, all-knowing agent through his actions. Look at how things are raised. A seed is nurtured until it becomes a perfect tree. Everything is managed with foresight. The sun, the water, the soil, they are all coordinated perfectly. This management shows us God's names, and these names appear with both glory, Jalal, grandeur and power, and beauty, Jamal. Behind these names, we can understand the existence of God's 7 holy attributes: life, knowledge, power, will, hearing, sight, and speech. The text says, this proof is so strong, it's like seeing it with your own eyes. It becomes a certainty of faith. Let's break down the logic used here. Imagine a beautiful, meaningful book. If the book exists, the act of writing must exist. If the act of writing exists, there must be a writer, and that writer must have the title writer and the skill of writing. You can't have the skill without the person. The universe is exactly the same. It is a huge collection of meaningful books, letters, and palaces written by the pen of destiny and built by the hammer of power. Every single thing in the universe points to the actions of a Lord. Those actions point to His names. Those names point to His attributes. And those attributes point to the one eternal God. Everything in the universe, every beauty, every perfection testifies to this. If a piece of art is beautiful, the act of making it was beautiful. If the act was beautiful, the artist's skill is beautiful. It all traces back to the beauty and perfection of God Himself. So, when we look at this activity in the universe, what kind of activity is it? It is creating and inventing with wisdom. It is giving shape and proportion. It is changing, transforming, and perfecting things. It is feeding, giving gifts, and showing generosity. All of this shows us who God is. His acts of giving show He is the giver. His acts of shaping show He is the shaper. And within this, we see His 7 attributes clearly. Speech, just as Revelation tells us about God, His power. Writes physical words like trees and flowers that tell us about Him. The whole universe is like a physical Quran describing God. Knowledge. Every plant and animal is made with such precise order and wisdom that it proves the Maker knows exactly what He is doing. Life. If something can see, hear, and know, it must be alive. The universe is full of life, which points to the ever-living God. The universe is basically a giant mirror, but it's a mirror that is constantly changing. God keeps refreshing the scenes, bringing new seasons and new creatures to show off the endless variety of His names and art. Just as knowing proves life, and hearing proves life, seeing these qualities in the universe proves the life of the Creator. He is the source of everything.